May I take your order? May I take your order? Now, when I say, may I take your order, I am not speaking about me taking your order. I am speaking about that Christ's presence within you, asking, may I take your order? That I am every moment, every day is asking each and every one of us, may I take your order? When I started doing this message, this title just came to me, may I take your order? And I said, may I take your order? Wow, what a title. So I started looking around and I said, well, what scripture can I use for that? And it came to me, it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It is our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. We are living in God's infinite good, infinite possibilities. There are so many things available to us. And it is our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. And just as when we go to a restaurant, or we go to a store, or we go anywhere to get something, somebody would ask you, so if you go in a place where nobody has to ask you, but you have to take something, you have to make a decision. A decision has to be made. So you're in a restaurant and the waitress comes to you and says, may I take your order? And at the time the waitress comes, you may say, I am not ready as yet for you to take my order. I am not ready as yet for you to take my order. Is it the same situation we may find ourselves in our everyday life, that we are not ready for our Father, or that Christ's presence within us to take our order? And why I am saying that we are not ready, because all that the Father has is mine. All that the Father has is mine. But are we ready for that Christ's presence within us to take our order? Are we ready? Because if we are ready, then we would make that decision. We would decide what it is we want. What exactly do I want? Because just as when the waitress comes to us, we have to decide what we want to eat. What would I be eating? Or if you go to a store to purchase something, you have to decide. You have to make a decision as to what it is you are buying or what it is you want. There must be a decision that you have to make. How many times in our lives we find ourselves not being able to decide on something, not being able to make a decision, because sometimes we are at a crossroad. We are at a crossroad in our lives and we cannot make a decision. Well, if we cannot make a decision, then how can the Christ of our being, how can God take our order? How? We don't have a decision. So it is important for us to make a decision in our lives. And I started looking back at my life. And I said, it is so true that we have, it's not until we stand firm and we make a decision can we go forward. Not until we decide within ourselves that I have decided to follow Jesus, would we be able to go forward. It is a decision that we have to make a definite decision on whatever it is we want to see manifest in our lives. We have to decide. A decision must be made within our lives. We can't say, and sometimes we find ourselves, our minds just going all over the place. All over the place, our minds are going. And we are not focusing on one particular thing or making a decision. We are at a point in our life where we have to make it, but we're not centering ourselves to make that definite decision. I am here this morning to talk to us, to talk to myself, that whatever it is we want to see manifest in our lives, whatever it is, we have to make a decision on what it is we want. We have to decide what it is we want. What it is do I want? What I want. And when you make that decision as to what it is you want, then you make your order. Then you make your order. And our Father, whose pleasure it is to give us the kingdom, would be willing and is always able to give us whatever it is we tell ourselves we stand in need of. And when we are ready to make that order, we must remember, we have this song that talks about the words. We must be careful about what words we use when we make that decision. And it says, well, sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. And the words that we speak is what would give our decision life. The words that we speak is what would give our decision, would help give our decision life. For example, I am going on a vacation. I am going on a vacation. So I have made a decision to go on a vacation. And instead of I saying that, I will go on a vacation, we have to be positive. We have to be positive about this decision that we have made. We have to be positive. And in being positive, we would say, I am going on a vacation. Oh, I am healed. Praise God, I am healed. So we have to remember that when we make that decision, we back it up with positive words, positive feeling. So we put the feeling in it, knowing that, really and truly, it is my Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom. And this is what I want. This is what I want. So I see myself just as my Father sees me going on this vacation, or purchasing this new vehicle, or moving into this new house, or whatever it is you may be thinking about. We have to go forward and be decided on what it is we want. And it is so important for us to observe ourselves. It is so important for us to observe ourselves. Because I have been, for quite a while, I have been saying that, okay, there's some work to be done in the house, and, I need to get it done, and things like that. But, as I said, you're all over, my mind all over the place. That is not the focus. That is not the focus. I'm thinking about all other sorts of things. So it's not happening. And my Christ self is there, may I take your order? Saying to me, may I take your order? But I am not ready. I am not ready because I have not decided what I want to eat. I have not decided what it is I want to purchase. So it is my Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom. But am I ready to receive the kingdom? Am I ready? Am I ready to place my order? And it was only when I made the decision that, you know what, this thing dragging on too long. It's dragging on too long. And I said, Jerry, you know what? Let us do it. And everything just starts falling into place. The workman appeared. Everything just started falling into place. And I said, you know, it is so true that we keep back ourselves. Why? It's not because we don't have the finances, you know. Because the finances are always there. Why? Because my Father is rich. My Father is rich. So the finances are always there. Recently, I heard something and the person said, I'm not worried about the money. Wherever the money is, it will come. I would use that money wherever the money is. It don't have to be in your accounting. But once you make that decision, the way starts to path for it to happen. Things just start to fall into place for it to happen. Our Christ presence is always willing, ready, and able to take our order. What will your order be? What is your order? What is your order? What do you stand or what do you tell yourself you stand in need of? All that the Father has is mine, is for me to use and is for me to enjoy. But it is up to me to decide, just as when we go to the restaurant, it's up to me to say, well, okay, I'll have some rice, or no, today I wouldn't have any rice. I'll have vegetables, I'll have a piece of fish. And you make a decision and you place your order. And when you place your order, what do? You back it up with your positive words. I am going to complete the house. I am going to purchase a new vehicle. I am going on a vacation. I am going, and not I will. I am going. And it will start to happen. I am healed. Something is not right with you. I am healed. And you keep saying it. You keep reminding yourself that it is my Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom. And that order that you have placed, you place it in the hands of that Christ presence within you. And then you trust. You trust. You trust in that presence and that power within you to bring it to you. You trust in it to bring it to you. And as I say, it comes once you make that decision that this is what I want. Yes, it is so, and that's why I'm saying to us to pay attention. Pay attention to your life. Pay attention to how God works in your life. We have to pay attention because things are happening around us. Things are happening all the time and we miss it. We keep missing it all the time. And as I say, may I take your order? That is what our Christ presence is saying to us all the time. May I take your order? But because we are undecided, that order cannot be made. Yes, we say, but I'm praying. But I'm praying and I'm asking God. And I'm praying and I'm saying my meditation. Yes, we're doing all of that. But have we decided to make that order? Have we decided to place that order in the hands of our Father? Have we decided? Have we made that decision? Or we are still hither, thither, and yonder with what we want? And once we are there, once we find ourselves all over the place, then nothing will happen. Nothing is going to happen. Because the decision is not there. We haven't decided what it is we want. And just know that it will happen. Just know that it will happen. Don't worry about the semantics as to how it will happen. That is not your business. That is not your business. You make your order. You make your order and leave it up. When you go to the restaurant and you place your order, do you worry about what is happening with the chef and what? You don't worry about that. You sit at the table and you wait, and you know the order will come. You know the food will come at the right temperature, it will come. So you make your order and you sit by the table and you wait for it to come, knowing that it will come. And that is what we are required to do. Place our order. Back it up with our positive words and stay the course. Stay the course. And it would happen at the right time. At the right time. You know, I remember Reverend Chevalier talking about when your consciousness is ready, then you will receive. Right? So you make your order. You make your order and you get yourself in line. Get yourself in line to receive that order. And watch and see. Watch and see if it would not manifest. It will. It will manifest itself. I was listening to a video sometime during the week, and this fellow was talking about, he said he got his neck broken in two places. Yeah. He got his neck broken in two places. And he was working with himself, and well, of course, now everybody have a mentor. So he have his mentor who was working with him and advising him, well, you need to meditate and how you should meditate. And so he said one of the places that was broken was healed. One of the places that was broken, that was healed, but there is still this part. And he said that even though, he said, you know what, I'm doing my meditation. I am praying, I am doing what the mentor is saying. But for some reason, that other part, it is not healing. And you know what he said? He said, it's because I have not accepted that it could be healed. I have not accepted that it could be healed. It could be healed. So in other words, he made the order, but he is doubting. He is doubting that the chef will do what the chef has to do, and the waitress will bring the food for him right at the time that he needs it. And how many times we find ourselves in that situation? How many times? Looking back at myself, I know I have found myself in situations like that many times. Many times. Why? Because we allow we allow everything else that is happening to take over our mind. Everything else that is happening to take over our mind instead of keeping our focus, making that decision. Okay, this is it. This is here I am going, and this is what I am going to do. And as I said, looking back at my life, I recognize that it was only when I made a firm decision that things started happening. I remember before I went to do law, it was just all over the place. My mind was just all over the place, and I will never forget the morning that I made the decision. Yes, Bernadine, you're going to do it. It was for my 48th birthday. I got up that morning, I dressed, and I said, you are going to do it, and I walked. I didn't have transport at that time, so I took a taxi and I went to Shogunas and I walked in the school and I got the information. And from there, I made a decision. I decided this is what I wanted, and everything else fall into place. All the time I was thinking about, well, where are you getting money from? It's so much and so much, because of course you're checking and you're looking at all these things, because at one point, just to start, is how much? $1,000. That is the start. So in that day. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. You make the decision. And everything else just fell into place. Everything else. And in looking back at things that I have done in my life and got through, it was because I made a firm decision and I went with it.
You know what it is for me? I find we procrastinate.
Well, right.
You want something, just go and do it. I always remember Rev. She was 80-something, going to the grocery, going by the Chinese place, and she was very affirmative about what she wanted.
And I remember her too in thinking, and I remember she was 80-something when she went to China. She was 80-something years, and she went by herself.
I think that was around 2 years.
Oh, and Rev went to China at 80-something.
I think Sue went with her.
Okay.
That she went with Sue.
Oh, okay.
She is going about her business.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. In looking back, I realized, yes, this is how it works. This is how it works. You have to decide. You have to decide what it is you want, and do it. And once you start to do it, everything else. Once you make that step, as they say, I have this girlfriend. I remember when we were building the house, and at one point I was there, and she said, don't worry, when you're having a baby, once that baby head come out, everything else would come out. And I never forget that explanation. So it's the same thing. Once you make a decision to do something, and you place that order, because as I said, that Christ presence within us is always asking us, what would you want me to do for you? What it is you would like me to do for you. But if we don't say what it is we want, how we would get it? How? If we didn't make a decision, how would it come to us? So we are the ones who have to place that order. Just place the order. Place the order and trust. Trust, knowing that I am a rich child of a rich father, and I dare to prosper. I dare to prosper. So God bless you. As I just for a moment we go within, as we go within, we know that God is. And because God is, I am. Because God is, I am. I am. And in acknowledging that I am, I acknowledge not the little I am, but I acknowledge the big I am within me. That big I am within me that moves me. That big I am within me that gives me the inspiration, the ideas. That big I am within me that is always saying to me, what can I do for you? Can I take your order today? What do you stand in need of? Do you need me? I am there. In your fears, I am there. When you think that you are alone, I am right there with you. I am right there. I will never leave you, neither would I ever forsake you. Underneath you, always, is my loving, lasting arms, lifting you up. Lifting you up. When you tell yourself you can't go no more, lifting you up. And when you could go, I will rest you down, place you down. And so you can walk on your own. But I will never leave you. I will never leave you. I am always here for you. And so it is for each and every one of us to learn, to move that self, that little ego self, that brings up the fear, brings up the doubt, that tells us that it is impossible to happen. But then that I am, that big I am within us is saying to us, I am your own. I am your own. Do you need me? I am your own. And so as we open up our hearts and our minds this morning to receive more of you, dear God, more of you and less of the human us, we know that all things are possible once we believe. Once we believe, it is possible. And so we give you praise and give you thanks. In no other name but in the name by the word and through the power of the living Christ within us all. Amen.